my guests who are my friends who are on the dais. To my extreme left is Rupanjana De. She is from Kolkata and she is a Central Council member of the Institute and my council colleague. My immediate left is Mr. Ashish Mohan. He is the Secretary at the Institute of Company Secretaries of India. To my immediate right is Mr. Sandeep Kejriwal. He is also a council member from Calcutta and incidentally he is the program director for today's program. To my extreme right is Mr. Mohit Shah. He is the chairman of the Regional Council of the Institute of Company Secretaries of India. He is also based from Kolkata. Quickly, there are two areas for a company secretary. One, he can be in employment as a company secretary, where he heads the compliance and the governance function of every company, or he can also be into practice. I'm a practicing company secretary, so are the members on the dais, all of them are practicing company secretaries. But we felt that there is also need for having programs for the corporate secretaries, identifying the role which they play. And today's theme, if you look at, there it is on CS, on corporate governance for Viksit Bharat, how we can transform the corporate governance for Viksit Bharat. That is the theme for today's and tomorrow. This is a 1.5 day program which is going to be held here. Basically, if you look at the institute, we have 3 levels of functioning. One, at the top is the Central Council. I am the president of the institute. My name is CSB Narasimhan. And we have 15 elected members and 5 government nominees in the Central Council. This is the policy making decision for the institute. And then we have the regional council. We have 4 regional council: North, East, West, South, and North, East, West, South. And we have all India level. We have about 73,000 members and around 2 lakh students. Then the last grade is a chapter level. That is that we have got chapters in 73 chapters are there. We have opened. The last one was in Gandhinagar in Gift City. It has been opened. And this chapter meets with the demands of the students over there, the members over there, conducts programs for them. We have, as I told you, we've got about 2 lakh students and about 73,000 members. In the city of Calcutta, we have about 2,780 members. And we have about, in the entire West Bengal, we have about 4,135 members. And in the entire eastern region comprises of West Bengal, Odisha, the Bihar, Jharkhand, and northeastern states. So all including Assam, etc., will be coming in. We have about 6,900 members. And number of students in the city of Calcutta is about 6,900 students. And in the entire West Bengal is about 9,800 odd students. And in the entire eastern region, the number of students is about 20,700 odd students. Having said this, there are 3 levels of examination. First is for a student to complete the course. The first one is a CSET, that's more of an entrance examination. That's objective type questions are asked, and that is the first level. A student who passed the 12th examination can join the course and write the entrance examination called the CSET. Once he completes the CSET, then he has to register himself for the executive course, that's the second level of examination. A graduate from any field other than fine arts can directly join the executive examination. Graduate need not write the entrance examination called the CSET, directly join the executive examination. So register for the executive examination. And then once you pass the executive, then you are required to do a training for about 21 months. And once you complete the training, you can also, in fact, training is mandatory, but you can join the professional, take up the professional course anytime after completing the CS executive examination. So currently we have about 1,400 odd students who are writing for the professional examination in the city of Calcutta, and we have about 5,400 odd students writing for executive examination, and we have more than 15 to 20,000 students writing the CSET examination. In order for the development of the profession, we also look at various study centers. That is to facilitate the members to gain knowledge. That is a mandatory requirement. Every member has to do about 20 programs, structured as well as unstructured creditors for developing his knowledge. And these are study centers where we do it. And overall we have about 172 study centers. And in EIRO, that is Eastern region, we have about 23, and in West Bengal we have about 4, and in Kolkata specific we have about 3. That is in Bhavanipur Education Society College, Haldia Law College, and IIM Kolkata. We also have academic collaboration with various universities. Overall, we have about 146 academic collaboration. In EIRO Eastern region, we have about 24. In West Bengal, around 2, that is in Kolkata. Both of them are in Kolkata. One is in IIM Kolkata, and Amity University we have. Apart from this, we also have 4 Center for Corporate Governance Research and Training. We call it CCGRT. We have 4 of them. One is under construction in Manesar. We have one in Newtown, Kolkata. It's a very big, we have about a 2-acre plot over there where we have constructed it. And that is next to Amity University itself. And we have one in Hyderabad, again a CCGRT, and we have one in Mumbai, that is in Belapur, that's also CCGRT. In order to encourage more students joining our course, we also have signature awards. Overall, about 107 we have tied up. And in West Bengal, in EIRO Western region, we have about 14. In West Bengal, that is 2. Both are in Calcutta, University of Kalyani and IIM Calcutta. The outstanding students who are passing the course from that college are awarded by our institute. We also have Guru Shrestha Award in order to encourage the teachers who are teaching the students. The outstanding contribution of teachers for the benefit of the students, we recognize that, and we have the Guru Shrestha Award as well. Across the country we do it. We also have a fair number of overseas centers. In other words, we find that although out of the 73,000, we have more than 1,000, nearly 1,000 odd members who are not really in India, but stationed outside India. And in order to, wherever the concentration of our members is very large, we have a center, we have about 6 centers, which are in UAE, UK, Canada, Australia, Singapore, and USA. These are the 6 centers where we are. And in fact, we find that in all these centers, quite a few of our members are doing not very much dissimilar. The work which we are doing here is not very dissimilar from that. In other words, more or less akin to what is being done here. And therefore, we intend to have these kind of these centers in order to benefit the members who go abroad for any reason. If they want to go for job, they can do it. And we also have, or in other words, if they get married, they go, then they can find an opportunity for some employment, fruitful employment. And I'll touch upon the Shahid Ki Beti later. Quickly, I'll touch upon some of the activities which we do. We have basically 4 national programs. Today is one national program for the corporate CS. Then we have one practicing company secretary national program that was recently held in Ayodhya on June 14th and 15th. It was held in Ayodhya. It was a very good program, a roaring success for us. And then we also have National Women's Conference. We find that currently more than 49% of the members are all women members. And in fact, among the students who are joining us, we find more than 50% of the students who are joining us are all girl students. So we find that the importance is there for women, and therefore we have a National Women's Conference as well. And that was held in the city of Bangalore in the month of March, because that coincided with the International Women's Day. Then our major program is, if I may say so, is the National Convention, where the congregation of members and students is pretty large. And on an average, we have more than 1,500 to 1,800 members joining in. That program is going to be held later this year on the 8th, 9th and 10th of November in the city of Mumbai. That's a national program. In fact, the chairperson SEBI, Madam Madhavpuri Bhuj, has already consented this thing to be the guest of honor for that program. We have yet to decide on the chief guest. So this is today's program. Yeah, today's on corporate. This is for the corporate CS transforming governance for Viksit Bharat. I want to highlight something about Viksit Bharat. I think you all know that India has been doing exceedingly well, and the GDP growth is phenomenal. I can tell you this. And because we were 10 years back, we were the 10th largest economy in the world. From there, currently we are now the 5th largest economy in the world, doing exceedingly well. And we expect that this growth is going to go further up. In fact, the government was aiming 5 trillion. And currently, our share capital, the capital market is up past the 5 trillion mark. And we are currently doing over 4 trillion. In 2025, they wanted to do, thanks to COVID, that's not been achievable. But anyway, the government is now aiming to be 10 trillion by 2030. What does it mean? It means that we will become the 3rd largest economy in the world after China, after US and China. So that is the position we are planning to occupy. That's the government aim, and we are working towards that. And if you want to see the reasoning behind it, why it is going to be beneficial for the profession, we find that the capital market is given a big boost. The capital market, which was around, in fact, the index, if you want to measure the robustness of the capital market, one of the main, this thing is the index itself. The index, which was about 25,000, BSE index, which was 25,000 10 years back, is now crossed 80,000 in a matter of 10 years. And the pundits who really predict what's happening in the market, their expectation is India will touch the 150,000 index by 2030. So this is the expectation from the people who are there in the market, and I'm sure it's an absolute possibility, not a distinct possibility, it's an absolute possibility. And when we talk about the capital market, the one profession which will come to the mind of anybody is that of the company secretary, because he is always heading the compliance part of the capital market as far as SEBI is concerned, as far as the company law is concerned. These are two crucial areas where the company secretaries play a very, very vital role. And of course, the corporate governance. Corporate governance, is to say the least, is one of the most important aspect of it, and we call ourselves the governance professional. And let me touch on some of the other activity. We are also planning to have a international conference in Middle East on the 4th, 5th, 6th of September. This is responsible investment for sustainable future. I'm sure all of you would realize that there's a great importance which is coming about on ESG, environment and social governance. And that is again, the G20 meet which was held in India a couple of years back highlighted the need for having this ESG in place in all the countries, and India is also committed to become carbon free by 2030. So we expect that ESG is a very important role, and most of the investors, foreign investors, when they make the investment, they are looking at that they are making an investment only in those companies which are looking at sustaining the environment for the future. So that is the most important thing. We have seen the havoc which the climate change is making across the world. So this is going to be held on 4th, 5th of September. And we also have an international conference every year. We started 3 years back. This year we had the 3rd international conference in Singapore. We have already had 2 international conferences, one in UK and one in UAE. And this year we had in Singapore. And I'm mighty pleased to inform you that we had more than 100 members from India who travelled from India to Singapore for attending the conference. And that again was based on where was it? Actually, it's not it. Okay. Initiatives for the students. We can rope in more students joining the course. In fact, through your medium, I want to appeal to all of you to tell about the importance of this course, which I'm going to highlight in the few words from now. In my discussion with the regulators, I've been told that the demand for professionals, there's going to be dearth of the professionals in the years to come. In other words, the demand is going to go so high. And we are targeting at least about 150,000 members by 2047, when the government is aiming to be one of the largest economy in the world, besides UK and China. Sorry, USA and China by 2047. That's the 100th year of independence. The Viksit Bharat 2047. We will be one of the most developed countries in the world. So this is a possibility, and when you are looking at it, currently we are only 70,000, so we need to have at least add on 80,000. So unless we have more students coming our way, we cannot have churn out more members. Therefore, because this profession is going to be a standard profession in the years to come. All of you would know about the fact that the government, the parliament passed a bill on arbitration and mediation. In fact, the Chief Justice is on record to say that if no further cases are filed in the courts, the current cases which are filed will take 2050 for everything to get resolved. In other words, they are saddled with a lot of cases coming in, and they don't have the time to resolve them. And therefore, they have passed this mediation and arbitration bill, where it is made mandatory that there should be a clause in every agreement for arbitration or mediation and arbitration. So, looking at that opportunity, we have opened a first ICSI ADR Center, International ADR Center in Noida on the 29th of February. It was opened through the hands of former Chief Justice of the country, Mr. Sadinama. And we expect that more traction will be looking at more traction coming in. And once we have sufficient traction, then we plan to replicate these ADR centers in some of the other large establishments which are there at the institute disposal, including the one in Newtown, Rajarhat. There we have a very large establishment. We may have one more international ADR center over there as well. On the MSME front, we find there is a lot of scope for our members. In fact, most of the entrepreneurs, they know more about the business, less about the compliance. So we handhold the businessmen to comply with because they don't have any exception for not compliant, and then the cost of non-compliance is pretty severe. And therefore, our members are fully involved in the MSME segment. They handhold the entrepreneurs to take them in their journey to make them a very successful businessman. There's also a new concept which has come about on social audit. In fact, the NGOs, I'm sure all of you know about the NGOs or non-profit organization can now raise money from the public. Now this is money which is being raised. They will issue a units to them, the public shareholders. We don't call them shareholders, we call them unit holders. But they cannot trade, and they can get it listed, but they cannot trade in the securities. It's more of a small-time contribution for a noble cause. Most of the NGOs are taking money for the purpose of developing doing some activity which will benefit the community at large. That's the purpose for which they are raising money, and they get them listed on the stock exchange. Currently, about 8 to 9 units have already listed, and about nearly 45 to 50 are in the pipeline for getting listed in the social stock exchange. And there is more recognition which came our way by the regulator, SEBI, who had announced that a company secretary can also be a social auditor. We call it social impact assessor. So the purpose of this assessor is to make sure the purpose for which the money has been raised has been spent only for the cost for which it is raised, and there is no siphoning of funds. And therefore that is a very important role our members will be playing in the years to come. We also have a concept of a UDIN. Any document which is certified, we have identified certain very important documents which are required to be certified. And those documents, the individual who is doing the certification has to generate a unique document identification number, UDIN. You cannot backdate it. If I am signing today, that has to be generated 7 days in advance or on date and then sign. You cannot do a backdating. That's where the problem comes in for professional, where people have been backdating documents that will not be allowed. And we expect that UDIN, and it's come to stay, we have already covered about a 10 to 15, 12 certification under the UDIN concept. And this is a very important decision which was taken. Similarly, we also for employee company secretaries to identify how many of our people are in employment, we have ECSI, an employee company secretary identification number. So this is also need to be generated for every member who's taking up employment. Out of 70 odd thousand, with the number of members in practice is around 14,000 and the balance are in employment. Recognitions, we keep seeking recognition from the regulator because these are important aspects for sustaining the profession itself. And I'm thankful to inform you that I'm thankful to the regulators for the recognition that they have been giving. The recent one was the Impact Assessor, Social Impact Assessor, which was received, and one from IFCA, that is the International Financial Services Center Authority, which is based in the GIFT City in Gandhinagar. And we have signed an MOU with IFCA, and we had a half-a-day program for our members where the topic was only on GIFT City and the role the professional can play in the new environment which is coming up. And I'm glad to inform you some of the other state governments want to replicate the GIFT City in their states as well. And we expect that there will be a lot of opportunities for our members. In fact, a compliance officer in any unit in the GIFT City has to have a company secretary as his compliance officer. Recognition from SEBI has been coming in, and we expect that there are some changes which are coming under the LODR and as well as ICDR, two important regulation of SEBI. In this also we will be getting some recognitions coming our way. The need for, as I told you, the need for students joining our course is very important, very absolutely required, and therefore we are concentrating on what is known as career awareness program. In fact, all the chapters as well as the regions have been given target for conducting career awareness program. At least we get about 10% of the students attending the course. We expect that the number of students joining will increase. My personal target with my council, I've announced that by the end of the year, we need to have at least about 2.5 lakh students, from 2 lakhs, and we need to have 2.5 lakh students and possibly 3 lakh students by the end of next year. And in order to increase the quality of the student, now you should know that CS degree is a distant learning process. In other words, I studied the course while working, and many of the students who do the course are students doing from their house itself. In order to improve the quality of the students coming out, we have signed an MOU, Memorandum of Understanding, with NISM. NISM is National Institute of Securities Market. It's an extended arm of SEBI, and they have a huge infrastructure in a place near Bombay called Patal Ganga, and where they can, the 75-acre land is there, and they have built up area which is phenomenal. They can accommodate at any given point in time more than 500 residents in the campus itself. So this is going to be a sea change. We have signed an MOU. This MOU talks about an integrated course for the students. Normally a student doing distant learning completes a course, he is very intelligent, in a span of about 3 years, or it may take about 4 years or 4.5 years. But we have a plan to get the students completing the course within a span of 2 years itself. At the end of the first year, he will write this in executive examination. And having written the executive, if he passes, he will write the professional examination at the end of the second year. And the advantage what we are doing here is that NISM conducts a lot of programs for professionals. And especially SEBI has mandated that each one of the intermediary associated with the capital market should have a compliance officer who is NISM qualified. So there are more than 25, 30 various intermediaries associated with the capital market, like the stock exchange, the depository, the brokers, the merchant bankers, etc., etc. Unless they complete the course, they cannot join the course, they cannot be taken as employee. And what we have done with SEBI is, during this 2-year period, at the end of the first year, the student will also have to write an examination on capital market, and if he qualifies, he gets a certificate given by NISM that he is fully qualified as far as the capital market is concerned. And at the end of the second year, a more stiffer course is there for the student to complete, and he gets 2 certificates from NISM, jointly signed by ICSI. In other words, even if he does not complete a CS course or professional course by the end of the second year, he becomes employable by virtue of the 2 certificates which he has got from NISM, where he can be employed in various capital market intermediaries. I have MOUs with IM. We have about 17 IMs are covered for the MOU, and National Law University, we have MOU with NISM. We also have MOU with ICSI, which I mentioned about it. So all these MOUs are with it's a win-win situation for both of us. They are looking at some programs from our members for the students who are studying in that course. So we are able to do that. And incidentally, we are also attracting more students coming our way. Some of the social incentives, initiatives which have been taken, I need to highlight some of them. I'm sure all of you would know the concept of Agniveer, which started by the government about 3 years back. And that's basically for 5 years. They are employed in the Army, Navy or the Air Force, and after that they need to move out. So that is they are fully trained. But in order to get them fruitfully employed, we are looking at some of the states are giving preferential employment to those Agniveers who complete the course. But in our thought, we thought that we need to educate them, and therefore we have decided they can join the course free of cost. Agniveers, all the Agniveers can join free of cost. All the the defense personnel, there is no cost attached to it. They can join the course free of cost, including their wards, including their children. So this is a very important initiative. And in order to, again, one more thing we've done is we have dispensed with giving mementos. Instead, we used to give them Shahid Ki Beti certificate. So a nominal amount is contributed by the institute against each one of the certificate given. And so far, around 41 lakhs has been transferred to the government, to the Defense Ministry, for distribution to the martyrs' daughters. So those person is passed away and then he has a daughter. Their education is being taken care of by whatever contribution, minimum small amount of contribution is being done by us. We also have widows for martyrs are also joining the course without any charge. And among the 3 institutes, I take great pride in mentioning that our fees is the lowest among the 3 institutes. The other 2 institutes are the cost and management accountant, which has its office currently in Kolkata. We also have the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India and Institute of Company Secretary. We are the youngest among the 3 professions, but I can tell you we are an eyesore for some of them because we have grown the fastest among all the 3 professionals. In fact, we also extended this free of charge to students after the COVID. Many young students lost their parents, so we have given totally free for them to join our course. And those students who are there in Ladakh, Kashmir, for them also it's free of charge. They can join our course in order to encourage more students coming into the mainstream. This is the purpose for which it is being done. We also have an education fund where we give scholarship to underprivileged children or bright students who cannot afford to pay, depending upon the annual income, which is less than 3 lakhs. They can join the course free of cost, no charge is given, and some scholarship is also given to them. I have by and large shared what I need to say at this point in time. I think a brief note on what has been done by ICSI has already been shared with you. If you have any specific questions, I'll just have anything else. I think I've covered. And if you have any specific questions coming from your side,